Hello, welcome back to the Informed Voter Series. I'm here with Avery Johnson. Would you tell a little bit about yourself and what position you're running for?
Well, I'm a native of Cleveland. I was actually born and raised right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Lived here practically all of my life. But I am on the city council and have been on the city council for 22 years as a representative of the 3rd District, and now I am seeking to run for the at-large city council seat because I know a lot of people in the city, and I've been all over the city, actually.
Let's talk about that a little bit. The 3rd District we've represented for 22 years. What area does that encompass?
Well, that encompasses everything on the west side of Interstate 75.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly coming out Georgetown Road, everything on the left-hand side, all the way to the city limits. And then on Interstate 75, when you get on the other side, on the west side of Interstate 75, everything inside the city. On the west side of Interstate 75 is in District 3.
Okay.
Mostly the freewheel road.
Very distinguished career on the council, and they continue to bring you back for 22 years now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're seeking the at-large position, which currently is held by George Poe.
Yes.
And the other candidate is Mr. Porter.
Right.
Why have you decided to move to that position?
Well, I recently remarried, and I've got a house for sale. My wife's got a house for sale, and so I don't know where I'm going to end up living in the city of Cleveland, but what I would like to do is to run for a position where I can live just anywhere in the city of Cleveland. And I know people all over the city of Cleveland in every district, and I just feel like that I would be able to relate to all the different districts and represent them well, because I've lived in at least 2 or 3 of them in my lifetime. So I'm just looking forward to moving on and serving the at-large position.
For those that don't understand, what is the difference between representing as the at-large versus just the 3rd District?
Well, representing at the at-large means that you would be representing all 5 districts. See, my name will be on the ballot in all 5 districts, District 1 through 5. And then there are 2 at-large positions, and the at-large representative, they serve all 5 districts. The district that I was in, which was District 3, actually was the largest district and always has been the largest populated district. And so I have been used to serving a lot of people, and every time we redistrict, I end up having to give up people rather than trying to gain people. I've had a lot of people. At one time, my district alone was pretty close to about 9,000 people just in District 3.
Mr. Johnson, would you tell us a little bit about your education and your qualifications for the position?
Well, my education is that I'm one of those kids that went through school, high school, stayed on the honor roll, made A's and B's, president of student council, did everything that I was supposed to do while I was in school. And when I got out of school, I was in a single parent home, and so therefore if I had to go to work. But I went to school at night at Cleveland State, and then I went to work at Maytag in 1961, and every training and everything, when I got into management and supervision, anything that they had to offer in the way of training, I enlisted and I enrolled in it. And I've been to all kinds of seminars, workshops, and different schools. I went to night school at Cleveland State for quite a while. I never did finish, but then I did a lot of things because I realized education is important. It's one of the most important things that we can acquire is education. And the one thing that I'm most proud of in the field of education is the fact that I was the founding president of the 100 Black Men. And we have been able to give out scholarships to so many kids. We've got 48 kids right now that have graduated from college that we supported all the way from the 9th grade through the college years. And I just realized how important it is, and I have done just about everything, been a member of every association, organization in the community because I want to give back to the community. I've always been involved in civic organizations since I was 19-year-old, So I know Cleveland, I know the city of Cleveland, I know a lot of people, but I have worked hard, really hard, to acquire and do and give back to the community.
Would you distinguish yourself a little bit from the other 2 candidates?
Oh, I am most distinguished from the other 2 candidates. One thing is that I do know how to follow protocol. I think that one of the biggest things that I see clearly is the fact that we have a council manager form of government. And with the council manager form of government, and according to our charter and guidelines, we have a perfect fit, in my opinion, this form of government for the city of Cleveland. The council manager form of government has representatives of people who live in the districts. And we have people all over the city of Cleveland living in different areas of Cleveland that are representing different areas and different districts. I support that wholeheartedly. My candidate, I don't feel like feels that way. I feel like he's more for the strong mayor form of government, and he wants to have more day-to-day control of operations, and we have really grown so much and are growing so fast in the city of Cleveland. We have to start thinking and running our city like a business in order to serve the people. It's about service, and I know that we need to do whatever we can to serve the people. And you can't do it if you're going to try to micromanage under the old form of government, and that's exactly what we used to do. And we had a lot of people that didn't have representation, because sometimes, at one particular time, there were 3 commissioners that was representing the council makeup as it is now, and they all lived in the same neighborhood, but yet still they were over different departments, and you just have so much division trying to run a system like that. The system that we have right now is more cohesive, it's more united, it's more together, it's more focused, and it definitely provides the services that our community needs, and the people and the citizens.
And to that end, Ms. Castile is recently retired, and you guys are in the process of, or tell us about the process you're at of hiring a new city manager.
Well, we're going to have a hard time trying to replace Ms. Castile. There's no doubt about it, because she was a very compassionate person, and she was one that cared about people. She cared about the community. She was a hard-working person, and she was the type of person that knew what her job was and knew what her responsibilities were. The process now is that we've had this committee that has been put together that has done an outstanding job of seeking out really qualified candidates, and we've come down to the last 5, and in our last meeting we voted to pick one of those candidates and go ahead and put them in and bring them on board as the new city manager to replace Ms. Castile, and that's Mr. Joe Fivers. And he's well qualified. He's well qualified. He's come highly recommended, but I think that he's still got a hard road ahead of him. As they used to say about some people, if you're going to follow this person, you're going to have to learn how to walk on water, because I think that's what Ms. Castile did.
What do you see as the 2 most significant issues facing the city council?
The 2 most significant issues facing the council right now, number 1, in my opinion, is growth. We're growing so fast right now, and the infrastructure of our community, we have sort of outgrown and not kept up, and I'm beginning to watch the traffic flow, the traffic situations, and we just got a lot of problems just keeping traffic and keeping everything under control. So that definitely is one of the most significant problems facing the city of Cleveland in the coming future, is that we're growing and that we need to really work on our infrastructure, streets, and everything like that to make sure that we keep up with the growth, And the other one, of course, is in the field of, there are so many of them, in the field of education. We right now have an overcrowded school system of nearly 400 students in the city, so we need to build a new school, and we've got to go ahead. We've got a great school system. I'm really proud of what our school board has done for the city of Cleveland in our schools, but we definitely got to have another school. We got to get rid of the overcrowded situation, and there's just a lot of challenges out there. The future, there's a lot of challenges in the future for the city of Cleveland, and a lot of things that we need to do to get ready for those challenges that we're faced with, and we're going to have to really come together. And I think one of the biggest challenges facing us right now is to get our council refocused to where we can come together and work together for the betterment of the city.
How do you think your role will change in that from the 3rd District to the at-large?
Well, it would change quite a bit. I think it'll be, you know, it really won't, it shouldn't be a whole lot different, but it will be more. I think that I'll probably be involved a little bit more because I know a lot of people in 1st District, 2nd District, you know, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll be basically doing about the same thing, but it's going to be a challenge. It'll be a challenge.
What optimisms do you have for the future of Cleveland?
Oh, I've got great optimism for the future of the city of Cleveland because we are one of the fast growing, sort of like metro areas that's coming up. And we've got a lot of growth taking place right now. We've got a great industry base. We've got a low unemployment rate, and things are just looking really, really good for the city of Cleveland. But we just need to really stay focused.
Are there transportation needs or other things that the city can help with?
Absolutely, yeah. And there are transportation needs, and you know the transportation of just the buses, the little buses that run around the city of Cleveland, is doing so much good for the elderly of our community, and we have to figure out how to better serve the elderly community, as well as some of the other needs in some of the other areas. But there's all kind of transportation needs. Roads need widening. A lot of streets are really still, you know, the same as they were back in the 1950s. They need to be widened. There's so much stormwater drainage problems and stuff like that. We have a lot of issues with our streets and stuff that need to be worked on and need to be fixed.
Ms. Johnson, I want you to have a moment to tell people if they want to find more information out about you. Do you have a website or something they can go to?
Yeah, I have. If you go to campaign Re-elect Avery, or Avery Campaign 2016, and I have a web page there, and I'm on Facebook, and they can follow me on Facebook. And if they have questions, just post them, and we'll try to get back with them and answer them. And we're also going to be out in the neighborhood knocking on doors and talking to people. But they can always reach me if they, you know, if nothing else, you just pick up the phone, give me a call. You know, my number is 423-593-4418. Be glad to talk to anybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to tell the people before we close?
Well, I think this is a very important race this time and this particular campaign. And out of all the races that I have ran, and I've ran 5 times and been elected 5 times as a representative of the City Council of the 3rd District, I had a lot of good people in the 3rd District that really helped me a whole lot, and that's the reason why we were able to accomplish so much. We come together, I listened to them, I went back, and we done a lot of things, made a great difference in the 3rd District. But we need to really think about what's ahead of us right now for the city of Cleveland at large. The city of Cleveland at large needs somebody that can communicate with all the different citizens. We have a very diverse community, and we need somebody that knows how to communicate with that diverse audience out there. And we need somebody who knows and cares about how to represent those people and to make sure that we're able to provide services and meet the needs of the people in the city of Cleveland.
Mr. Johnson, I thank you for coming in. It's been a pleasure to speak with you, as it always is.
Well, it's my pleasure. I appreciate the invitation, and to the Bar Association, you always do a great job, so I'm just glad to come. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
All right, thank you.